Emotional intelligence is one of the most important aspects of human life, and emotionally intelligent people can know and consider and self-regulate their own emotions and emotional responses, and also know and consider the emotional situations of other people, and act based on the requirement of the environment and overcome the probable environment challenges. It's mean that emotional intelligence is important, like EQ or mental intelligence, and it's very important for individuals to focus on emotional intelligence and try their best to develop the different aspects of emotional intelligence, because in the current challenging world, it's very important to be intelligent emotionally, to self-regulate our own emotions and emotional responses, and also know and consider the emotional and emotional situations and emotional response of other people, because most of conflicts come from emotional situations, and when we do not consider our own emotions and emotional situations and responses, and also the people's emotional situations and emotional responses, there might be some problems and conflicts. That's why we have to focus on our emotional actions and reactions and emotional responses, and prevent from some useless emotional responses, and use most helpful emotional responses and emotional situation, and try to have a stable emotional situation throughout the development of our emotional intelligence. Actually, the most parts of emotional intelligence, were the most phenomena and factors that construct the emotional intelligence, are self-awareness, self-regulation, emotional empathy, emotional regulation, internal coherence, and energy consumption. The first thing for both emotional intelligence and mental intelligence is self-awareness. All people, all individuals have to know themselves, have to know their capacities, and be aware of their strengths and weaknesses, and also the real aspects of their internal and social and professional lives, and skills and abilities. Self-awareness is one of the most important aspects of emotional intelligence, because through self-awareness we can recognize, assess, and consider our own emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical situations, and emotional and mental strengths and situations can help all individuals to have healthful lives and have happier lives. And actually, when we know our emotional situations, and when we know and recognize the different aspects of our emotional responses, at that case, self-regulation and emotional regulation is very important and very useful, because when we face different situations, we might have different aspects of emotional actions and reactions and emotional responses. And we use all emotional responses, we may face some problems and challenges. That's why we have to regulate ourselves, we have to manage ourselves, we have to prevent some harmful aspects of our emotional situation and emotional responses, and try to use most powerful and helpful aspects of our emotional situation and emotional responses. And also, emotional empathy is very important, one of the most important aspects of emotional intelligence, because when we interact with different people, when we collaborate with different people, when we work with different people in different organizations, or when we live among human societies and face with different people in our daily lives, we may face with different actions and reactions, different emotional situations of different individuals, because different individuals, different people have their own different personal, interpersonal, and intrapersonal characteristics, and different emotional situations and responses. That's why we have to recognize and know the emotional situations of other individuals, and have and increase our emotional empathy and consider their emotional situations and try our best to act based on the emotional situations of other individuals. Because when we interact or have communication with them, or we collaborate with them, if we do something against their emotional situation, we may fail to achieve our goals. But when we consider their emotional situations and emotional responses and increase the level of our emotional empathy, we can gain our goals, and we can establish good and lasting relationships. And also, of course, internal coherence is one of the most important aspects of both emotional and mental intelligence, because when we increase our our internal coherence through the increase of our heart coherence, we would be in a stable situation, and some emotional actions and reactions or emotional responses of other people may not affect our internal coherence, and we may not affect our emotional situation. That's why it's very important to work on the development of internal coherence. And internal coherence, of course, helpful actions and healthy actions of our cardiovascular system, and also good relationships between our heart and mind, and also between our heart respiratory system, and also our heart and digestive system. And our body works as a whole mechanism in organization. And when we focus on different aspects of our life and different actions and reactions of different aspects of our body, through self-awareness and through self-regulation, we can increase our internal coherence and heart coherence as well. And another important aspect of emotional intelligence and also mental intelligence, and both overall well-being of human beings, is energy consumption, because we have a limited level of energy, and of course we have four main domains for our lives, which are physical domain, mental domain, emotional domain, and spiritual domain. We have to focus on different domains based on their use and consume our energy wisely, especially when we focus on our emotional actions and reactions. We have to try on the consumption of our energy wisely to prevent waste of energy and use based on the needs of environmental situation, and also our actions and reactions. That's why when we think or talk about emotional intelligence, which is a new discipline and a very interesting issue, and of course one of the most important aspects of human life, which belongs to both personal and professional aspects of our lives. We have to focus on self-awareness, self-regulation, emotional regulation, emotional empathy, internal coherence, and energy consumptions. And through the well management of the mentioned issues, and through the development of the mentioned issues, we can improve our emotional intelligence. And through the improvement of our emotional intelligence, we may have more helpful and more happier personal, social, and professional lives. Because when we have helpful and successful interactions with different people, when we have successful and helpful collaborations and teamwork with different people, and also when we act helpfully and live successfully and friendly and helpfully among our society or in our society, of course we can be successful and happy in our personal, professional, and social lives. That's why it's very important for all of us to focus on the improvement of emotional intelligence through the improvement of different aspects that construct the main domain of emotional intelligence, And besides focusing on the improvement of our IQ and mental intelligence and mental strength, we have to focus on the development of emotional intelligence and strength as well. Thank you. Hope to focus on such things to have more helpful and successful lives for ourselves, and also be helpful for our societies as well. Thank you.